electronic side of it. Okay, cool. Okay, anyone else? Tell me some more about STEM. Yes, what's your name?
Jana.
Hello, Jana.
We learned how to hook up breadboards that we hooked up to the robots to program them and make them move.
Wow. I need to come to this class. I like your overalls. I wear overalls regularly. Okay, well, good. And have you all done any type of gardening or working the earth or anything like that? Yes? Okay, anyone who's done any of that? Working the earth, growing food, growing flowers, cutting grass, anything? Raise your hand. Raking leaves. Okay, okay, there we go. Good. Okay, so that, myself and Mr. Antoine, we are part of an urban agricultural training group. Do you know what agriculture is? Yes.
Farming.
Farming. Good. There you go. And we are teaching people how to grow food in an urban setting. Do you know what I mean by an urban setting? Okay.
In the city.
In the city. Wow, you all are smart. Okay, I'm going to have to sharpen up here. Yeah, that's right. Growing food in a city setting. Because most of the time when you think about growing food, you tend to think of it being grown where?
In the country.
In the country, yeah. Where was that?
Outskirts of the city.
Yeah, outside of the city, exactly. So there is a new movement going on with human beings all over the planet to where they're wanting to grow their food closer to where they live. Because if the food is being grown on the outside of the city and you're living on the inside of the city, yeah, they have to harvest that food, put it on transportation and do what? Ship it into the city, and sometimes it sits on those trucks and boats and things like that. It sits on there for a while, and some of the food does not retain the quality that it had when it was first picked.
And they want to know what, like, where they food, how it's like, how can I explain it? Like, with their food, like, they want to know about their food, where it's coming from, and how it's, like, being cleaned and, like, being cleaned.
You're right. Yeah, you're
And
absolutely
they don't
right.
want GMO, like, they don't want their stuff sprayed with feces to keep bugs off of it.
Yeah, and people would do that thinking that that would reduce the amount of an infestation, which is insects, or disease, which is some type of pathogen that would be on the plant. So they wanted to spray it with that type of things, thinking that those synthetic things would remove that possibility. They were wrong. Everyone's beginning to realize the best way to grow your food is through organic practices. And do you all know what I mean by organic practices?
Like
Research.
instead of using fertilizer, you can use compost to make your plants grow more.
You got it, that's right. You want to use organic practices using things that come from nature and not things that are made in a lab or chemically put together through a process with human involvement. So by using compost, that's organic practice. By using ammonia, that's a synthetic, a type of fertilizer that's been created and extracted to get the optimum amount of ammonia to put into your soil. Did you know your soil had ammonia in it? But it has a small amount. It doesn't have an abundant amount. If you don't use that synthetic fertilizer correctly, you could ruin your whole what?
Garden.
Yeah, you ruin your whole garden, your whole crop. So good. So you all are ready. You're just the audience I was hoping to be getting.
All right.
Because you're nodding. And what I'm going to show you is how to walk to a urban garden site, which tends to be in a community. You all heard of community gardens, right? Okay. And you have walk to an urban site. There won't be any house on the site, on the property. It'll just be a vacant lot. And how to go there, assess the site, look at all the obstacles and things that are on the site, and to begin to design it and put it in order to where you can start growing food on it and encourage the community to come and participate with you. Okay? So I'm going to basically get started by putting up some paper, and let's see, we might be able to do this. Did you find any graph papers? No?
I'm still looking.
That's okay, we can work with this. Antoine, would you do me a favor? And maybe tear this in half and give each person a sheet, please. And what we're going to be working on here, you all know what graph paper is?
Yes, sir.
Good. And that's just something you can use to help plan out your space, keep your lines straight, keep everything organized, so when you're making it and showing it to someone, it'll be able to where you can communicate what you've drawn in a organized way. And my sheet's going to be a little bigger than yours, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be any different. It's just going to be bigger. What we're going to draw is going to be pretty much the same thing you're going to have on yours. You all have something to write with? Yes? Everyone has something to write with?
I got it.
And when you think about an urban site and you go there and there's no house, what are you more likely going to find on that vacant property? If you could just answer out. What do you think you're going to find on a vacant lot? If there's no house there, you may find what?
Pipes.
Pipes, okay. Where the pipes are coming out of the ground, right? Because people have to have water come to their site, they have to have electricity, and sometimes they use those pipes. Anything else? It's going to be on this vacant lot when you get there. It possibly could have leaves on it, and it's really big. What has leaves on it? Trees, yeah. There may be trees on the lot, and there also may be sometimes, in order to keep your dog or people out of someone's property, there's going to be a what?
Fence.
A fence could be there. And let's think about, you have trees, you have fences, and sometimes people will go there and they'll dump what? Trash on it. Yeah, so you have the first thing you want to do when you go to your site is assess the site. So I'm going to draw really quickly just a little sample of a site off to the side here, and then we're going to learn how to design that site on our paper, okay? And this is a typical community. Any other dry eraser markers? Black? No? Yes? Please. Everyone has something to write with? Yes. Good. Huh?
Yeah,
Well, no, I need something that's going to wipe off a dry erase. If we don't have it, we don't have it. Give me the pink. I got green. Okay. So let's say this is the street. And then this is the lot. And over here is another lot. And over here is another lot. And each one of these lots may have a house on it. Okay? But the lot we're going to be working on is vacant. All right? So that means there's nothing on it. And if you want to, you can move at the other table so you can all look this way. You don't have to turn around without looking at your paper. But so on this lot, let's say we have a fence right here. So if someone put this fence here to divide this property, to make sure no one crossed over. Let's say we have another fence over here. And then let's say this is the alley in the back, because sometimes a vacant lot tends to have what in the front? A street, and in the back it has an alley. Okay, they come down through the alley, and they use that to pick up the trash and for people to get into their yards. Okay, so this is our lot that we're going to be working on. And on our lot, let's just say we have a really big tree right here. And do you all know what I mean when I say by looking at it from a bird's eye view? That's right, we're looking down on top of it. So when I draw a tree, I didn't draw a tree like this that we're used to seeing. I drew the tree as though we're looking from where? Right, a bird's eye view. When the bird's flying over, that's what they see, the tops of the trees. So let's say we have a tree here, and we have some bushes that are over here, and over here, and let's put some bushes in the back. So those are your bushes. And let's say we have a driveway, because let's think this lot might have had a house on it at one time, but they knocked the house down. So there may be a driveway or somewhere around in there. Okay? So when you go to a site, the first thing you want to look at are all the things that you cannot move. Now you can move the tree, but it would take a whole lot of what? Work. And sometimes that work would have you necessarily, you would have to have some what? Big what? Machinery, saws and things like that to cut that tree down. Some you can remove the bushes, but that means you're going to have to do a lot more work. So when you're thinking about your sites, you want to look at all the things that are permanent, that are going to be there unless you take a big piece of equipment and remove it. So we have some bushes and we have a big tree. So now the first thing we need to think about when you're about to convert a site over to a garden is how much sunlight it's going to get. Because your plants are going to need a minimum of 6 hours of sunlight to grow. They want more, but you're going to need a minimum of 6 hours of sunlight. So when I say minimum, what is that?
The lowest possible.
The least